I'm really focused on art that personally moves me. And one of my basic loves is literature, poetry, and I think I bring that to what I aesthetically value. I always think of Nietzsche when he said, when you stare out into the abyss stares out into you. And in that way, that's how I see art. Art that when I stare at it, I feel it's also looking back at me. I am always hesitant to say, I like this art, I don't like that art, because I'm always proven wrong. And if I always say, I'm not into sculptures, at the minute I say that, I see a sculpture that I love. But so I tend to just tell people when they say, what type of art do you focus on? I know it when I see it. I didn't really want to get lost in Chelsea and just be another Chelsea gallery. And I didn't want to also go to Brooklyn. I felt that was the easy thing for me to do. I had to do it in a place that is rooted in history and in a period that I personally find was the highlight of the art scene in New York City, which was in the 70s and 80s here in Soho. I feel that the relationship between artist and collector, it used to be a unified relationship where it was very personal. If you look at the major art sales that have happened up to the 70s or 80s, it was done a lot through interpersonal relationships. The relationship today tends to be a little bit colder, more corporate. There's less interaction between the artist, the collector, and the gallerist. In fact, very few collectors now even meet the artist. My goal is to really establish a gallery that has a global reach with affiliates all over the world, working together to really reestablish that relationship that I think is important. People who come to work in the art world come for the interpersonal relationships that are developed, for the culture, for everything that surrounds really creating art. So although we want to make it a commodity, we want to make money, we can't lose sight of why we're in this. The regions that I'm really focused on are the regions that I feel are rising, not just artistically, but economically. And the people that are within those regions have developed also a sense of self-confidence. Many gallerists here in New York, their exploratory mission into finding new art is to go to Bushwick. I'll go to the Bushwick of Shanghai, I'll go to the Bushwick of Mexico City, I'll go to the Bushwick of Johannesburg. I literally put the legwork and I really meet these artists and I look at not just where they're producing their work, but the cultural context that work is coming from. And I develop these relationships, not just with the artists, but with the collectors within their region or their country or their town that are supporting them. Most artists do not feel welcomed in a gallery, which is shocking because that's the place where artists would traditionally really just spend their days in. I incorporated a salon-style gallery. And the reason I wanted to do that is because it creates an environment where people can actually interact. And that salon-style gallery is private, strictly only for my artists and my collectors. So the only people you'll find there are either one of my artists or one of the hundreds of collectors from around the world that I work with. And I'm perpetuating this globally. So every George Berges gallery around the world that you go to will have incorporated a salon-style setting to it. I want every artist from around the world to really feel that there is a gallery that is really open, not just to new artists that are emerging, but also open to a global perspective of art. That art didn't end with, post-World War II era.